5 versus 5 on a map that is known as Adaptive. See, everything's adaptive these days. Nondur. And it is Adaptive Nondur. Here we go. Let's have a quick sort of our teams as usual up in this direction. Get our stats all looking nice and neat. And here we go. So Adaptive Nondur, we have Team 1 sitting up here at the top, Team 2 sitting down here at the bottom. As far as reclaim goes, there is 35,000 to be had on the map. Looks like there's some spread on the bottom left and on the sides as well as a chunk in the middle, a bunch of rocks here, and some water to hide in if you really want to. With some underwater mixes as well. So here we go. Let's have an introduction to these guys, see how we're going to go. And first up for team number 1, up here in the back, which could be considered an air slot, it is Amon Ra. Also happens to be the highest rated player in the game at 2100. In front of him, sorry, I totally missed. He's UEF. He is, and he's orange. In front of him, his teammate, it is KWBID. Going to call this person Kiwi Bird. I think we've seen this name before. That sounds like a familiar phrase I have said. Anyway, he's white. He is Aeon. Beside him in purple, it's a Seraphim player, and already stomping his way towards somewhere. It is Mr. Forever, and he is forever walking at the moment. Beside him in bright pink, another UEF player. It is L Style. I style. I don't know if there's a bunch of capital I's or L's. I do not know what. Anyway, it's going to be style. L style, because that's what it looks like to me. Capital I, 2 lowercase L style. And then finally for team number 1 over here on the far right hand side in the lavender color, also UEF, it is Nomad. Nomad is kind of like NICAD, but instead Nomad is slightly different. Maybe the same player with a rename, I don't know. But anyway, he's there and he is walking off towards the right to contest that side. Okay, let's have a gander at team number 2 then. First off for team number 2 here in the back slots, air slot if you will, the highest rated player for team 2, it is Arani. Anyway, Arani is Seraphim, he's red, he's working on his first air factory there. In front of him in the green color, Aeon, nice green, it is Boh Shonako. It's Bo. That's who it is, it's Bo. End story. Beside Bo in the puke yellow color, it is Wamu, and Wamu is already up the middle with their commanders. They're going for this reclaim very early on. They want to claim all this for themselves, and hey, why not? There's a couple of thousand worth there. Beside Wamu, it is Lebestial in blue color. Cybrin also walking come towards front, or maybe just wanting to grab this section here and control it. And finally for team number 2 here on the left hand side in cyan as Aeon, it is Upas, and Upas also walking his commander out. So quite a bit of walking going on. These guys are wanting to move up to the front and try and get some of the tasty reclaim. Like this commander right here already scooping up some of these items. There was a large rock that has been scooped, and it looks like Wamu is, he's hoovering up the middle. He's been a really good guy, and he's handing the mass over to his teammates because he can't use it all, which is nice and usable. Very nice thing to do, and that is absolutely going to keep things in tip-top shape there. Very nice of him to do that for us. Okay, over the side we can see it is Bo moved right up this commander, no contest. Well, they could say the same about the other side. Because of the way the spawns were positioned, it feels like it's more of a diagonal map rather than a top versus bottom, because it's still on the right hand side. So yeah, I think you'll see a line kind of set up on here on the left and maybe creep up the middle there, and same on this side. I think you'll see this green section held by the bottom team, this green section held by the top team, and the fight will go on that kind of angle over that way. I am hearing fighting. It is just some T1 inties having to go at each other because there's a transport out. Ooh, I say damage transport. Going to have to be careful about using that, especially if more inties turn up. And speaking of transports though, here's another one. Amon Ra. So Arana and Amon Ra having the same ideas. Amon Ra is going to get his one out first, and what's he going to start with? Maybe he'll jump up on the plateau. But this direction we have com on com action, and this is not good for Wamu. Wamu just needs to think about not being exactly where he is. He cannot fight a 2 versus 1 in com versus com. He gets around the corner, he'll at least reduce his shots from L style, who is stationary, and Wamu may decide to go for the water or just walk back, but it is still 2 versus 1, and that is not a great start. And Forever actually has overcharge. I see those coming out. You see the larger shots as they come out from Forever, and this is not good for Wamu. He has been isolated, although Labesto is coming on up to try and assist, and now it is just the one person because Earlstyle has stopped walking And that might give a chance for Wamu to get the heck out of dodge. If he can just get a little bit further, he'll be into the water and he will be okay. He does have spam helping him out, but he's down into the red. He should be fine from now. He's also out of range of River, and that is, well, he's been shooed away from the middle by a big range, and that is Amon Ra. His comms come up to the middle as well, so it was 3 comms for Team 1 in the midsection, and this is Wamu underwater going, ow. He got double teamed quite badly, and now he's got some issues. Lebestial cannot loiter around there. He has 3 commanders in his face, and hasn't got much in the way of spam on the ground either, so he's going to have issues if something happens, if he gets pushed, which is kind of what's happening. Forever and Amon Ra are coming up with their commanders. Gun upgrade on the way for Wamu. It's going to be kind of useful to get that completed. Maybe he's going to think about, say, T2 upgrade or something else as well, but right now his comm is basically out of the action. He cannot afford to be in on anything. Right, down this way, and it is now the Bestial being chased by Forever and Amon Ra. Going to have to be a wee bit careful. There's not an upgraded commander, no gun, no tech, no anything. So unless he's got overcharge, he's in a very precarious position right now, and he may want to think about heading for the water. If he keeps going that way, he's going to run into a pair of commanders, and he's going to have a terrible bad time. Best keep an eye on this little section. We see Forever is right there, and the Bestial walking in a straight line is not good for your health when there's T1 RC run, and he's definitely going the wrong way there. At any moment he's going to be in range of both comms, and now he's got problems. Units and commanders, 5,000 health. We know Forever's got overcharge. We're going to see some of those bigger shots come in. He is a dead man. I don't think he can make the water. Down into the red, 2,000 health. No, he's not getting out of that, and yeah, add to that the units. This is the Bestial. He's going down, and Earth's first ejection, 6.5 minutes. Kaboom! And that Bestie is gone. On the other side, we have a fight of units between Wamu and Illstyle, and that is going much better for Illstyle at this stage. A bomber comes overhead though. That's going to help even up some of the numbers perhaps, but my word, that was not good for team number 2, and it does not full share either. So this is now a gaping hole in defense. I did hear, there we go, so Upas has finished upgrading this commander. He has a full-on gun comm. Needs that radar though to see what the heck he's doing, otherwise he has to get in range. No radar, what's the point? No, seriously, what is the point of doing this when you have no radar? All this extra range is wasted. Just no point. I'm still hearing fighting though, and that is over this side. A few tanks are taking care of a few tanks on the opposite side. A bomber overhead assisting. But this is a bit of the danger. I'm surprised they didn't push those units in just to clean up these engineers and stop the reclaim. It's giving Wamu a little bit more eco just to try and hold the mid, which he's going to have to do by himself, 1 versus 3 basically, thanks to Amon Ra being around. Still no radar or Upas. I seriously don't understand. You have the longest range gun in the game, but you need radar for it to run effectively. Yeah, he's walking right up to these units. He could have been shooting at them already, but he can't see them. Now we can see them, and now he's in range, and they can shoot back at him. Whereas before, he could have just shot at them from range when they couldn't see him. This is Forever. He's setting up shop right up the front there, and he's getting a factory with some engineers out, obviously to help with the reclaim, maybe build stuff. He's got units here in support. He should be fine. But yeah, Upas really needs to think about radar. It would increase his survivability hugefold. Wamu has come back out of the water. He does have the gun upgrade. He's going to start taking out some units, but he has to be way careful because Illstyle's right here with his comm, and I don't care if you've got a gun, he's not going to survive if he stands there taking that. He's down into the reds, and I think this is Wamu making a big mistake. He's way too close. 1900, 1500. This is not a good move. Can he get back into the water in time? 800, 700 health, 500. Maybe he can sneak just under. Oh my word. I know I saw 60, maybe 50 health in that, but he needs to run away because you can be assured there's some kind of ground fire or torp bombers likely to be approaching. T2 areas available over here for Amon Ra, but I think maybe he's distracted a wee bit. Over on the right hand side though, this is Bo. And Bo's been making some good ground, but he is a wee bit isolated. He's kind of run out of units, and Does he have radar? He does. He has radar back here. So his nice ranged gun com will do extra damage on that front. Being able to shoot the extra distance is incredibly useful. A few little flares in the back here just being annoying, twisting, dodging, turning, trying to stay alive. And Bo does have some unit support as well as that gun com. He should be alright. Nomad also has gun though, so he doesn't want to get too close to that. Up this direction, and Upas. Upas is chasing. Really wanted to take Kiwi Bird out, but this is not the best idea when you don't have radar. So Upas right now has no idea. It's this giant force between him and safety. And part of that force is a commander. So Upas needs to think about going straight this way and getting the heck down into the water to some kind of relative safety. It would be good there. Wamu is back out of the water, 750 health. He's going to need to think about maybe an upgrade or falling back to survive. Units are pushing down from Ill-Style on this side here. Also here, the commander is in residence, popping down a point defense. But it's all about this side right now. It is Upas trying to get away from Amon Ra, or is it the other way around? Amon Ra does not have an upgrade. He does have health, but that's about all. Upas down into the water. Just scooting the edges, killing off a few Auroras on his way. Did he finally get radar? No, he didn't. Honestly, he desperately needs radar to do things, but this is a mass raid coming in from forever. Plenty of units coming on through, and this T1 artillery in the mix, so this point defense is going to have a bad time when those all land. And it's going to drop him down, but some defending units from Wamu is helping out. It's mostly Wamu stuff anyway, that's his factories right there. But that is one very, very dead point defense. But that is a second one been thrown up nice and quick. It's going to start opening up on these units. And that is pretty much all she wrote for those. Okay. So, was a raid. They've killed off all the mass extractors and a whole bunch of other things. So, successful raid, you could say. Wouldn't be so bad. Okay, Upas is still underwater, still being chased by some Auroras. Might as well stop and reclaim those. I mean, they're right there in front of you. Just do a reclaim order, and that will manage to shoo them away. Over the side, though, we have a secondary raid in from Ill-Style. So, getting a wee bit into the kosh is Wamu from two sides. And where's his commander gone? And he's over here. Still on the slow region. He's only got 5 kills to his name. That's not a great thing. Even though he does have gun, he can't really do much with that commander. Just the health is far too low to be able to affect anything. And there we go. Upas has come out of the water and he can start shooting things now. Again, if they had radar. He should be overcharging these from distance. Let's see if they're going to disappear in a sec, just like that. Radar, even a T1 radar, grab an engineer, slap a T1 radar down here or somewhere, because now Upas has a massive problem in the form of being rushed. Commander is not particularly healthy. Walking in a straight line is no good for your health, and there's lots of T1 artillery around. If he's got to keep dodging to survive. Under 4,000 health, 3.5, 3,200. He's got some reinforcing units coming on in, and he should hopefully, actually doesn't even need to go for the water. He could actually fall on back, which is probably the better idea, rather than being in the water, which is a bit risky. With everything else, he can actually now voice it out of it and stay not too bad. Over here, another push coming in from Ill-Style, but we have T2 on the field for Wamu, and Ilshivers plus T2 PD is going to make that a very short-lived raid. Over on the right-hand side, and oh! Trying to catch up in this action, and we find it was a mutual KO. So that was actually Nomad and Bo. I think it was Bo, sorry. Obviously having a nice little conflict there, but they got a little bit too low. I wonder how close that was to being not mutual, but it doesn't matter because it is. And now this entire right side is a giant gap of reclaim, which somebody is going to very much enjoy, but that is all she wrote on that front. Here we go, the units from Wamu are pushing back, and Ill-Style is not upgraded with his comm. I'm pretty sure he'll have overcharge, and he's going to need it for the fact that he's got these units plus the Ilshivers coming on in, and he maybe wants to pick and choose the units to reclaim. This is a small problem. He is getting surrounded. The T1 PD is going to keep work done though, and because of the PD focus, he can now have a chance to sneak into the water, and he'll be able to get it out of there and stay nice and alive. Now, I heard a bomber of some form. That's what I heard. I heard a strat. Now it's having to go at basically everything it can. Killed one mix there, and the question is where else to turn up. Going to turn up right here. It's going to run into a wing of inties, and there was an ASF around as well. Oh dear, 2 mixes for the price of 1, and a factory almost dead. That strat has done reasonable work. Another bomb off. And what happened to the ASF? Well, there it is. It's got to chase it. Don't let it go. It's almost dead. Will it get another bomb off? No. ASF comes off the factory and plonks that one out of the sky, but now it is Wamu cleaning up the front with that large force. He's wanting to just take some ground back by the look of it and not let it stay in opponent's hands, but this is T1 running into T2. Plenty of Ilshivas in this mix, and that's not such a great idea for these guys. They're going to struggle to overcome that. Right, Ilstyle is looking fine. Amon-Ra's healthy in the water. We have... what do we have? We have this fight going on here. Plenty to have a go at each other, but it's going to be problematic. Shield upgrade on the way for Upas, so he wants to get a bit more health in his commander. Maybe to turn him back into the middle for a fight. I don't know if he wants to keep this factory going. It's 100 health away from dying. That's how close that bomb was to killing it off. Maybe if he decides to pop it and then focus on upgrading the mass extractor, could be a better idea. But this is definitely a hold for forever, and it actually gives him a nice little mass field if he can get some engineers that way. This is why reclaim is important, folks. If you're ever wondering how important reclaim is, just have a look at the numbers. In this little section right here, there's over 5,000 reclaim to be had, and it's all in these little wrecks, just all over the place. A few large T2 wrecks, a couple of factories, but it is that important to be able to control the reclaim field. You gotta, absolutely gotta. Alright, coming out of the water is Ilstar, because he got shooed away by an engineer. The single engine came out and started building some torpedo launchers, because he decided that, no, you don't belong there. You can get out of the water. And get out of the wood. He has left hand side. This is Kiwi Bird with a double gun upgraded commander moving forward. Might be running to a gun upgraded shield com, who has 3 ranks of veterancy to his 0. And there we go, another push out from Wamu, but it's not going to do great things. Still with a massive amount of Ilshivas there. He's going to need his own massive T2 army, or even maybe T3, to try and claim some of that. In comes Amon-Ra. Looks like he's actually just grabbing this little plateau here, dropping an NG off. Good on him. And he's looks like he's grabbing this one as well, and then maybe planning for here. The question is, who's paying attention? Do you grab the engineers first or Arune? Manage it. Okay, this side, and this plateau looks reasonably safe. Don't think the T1 artillery shells are actually quite making it up. Maybe they could. Unsure, but in come a bunch of Spectres. Spectres ain't good. And does Upa still not have radar? He still doesn't. Honestly, I can't imagine having a game without radar. Like, there's obviously radar over this side because that's all seen, but none of that is like being tagged. And it's silly. Really quite ridiculous. I know somebody has radar over this side because I saw the market. There we go, got T2 radar for Wamu, good on him. But definitely need some radar over here, and you've got a spare energy doing nothing. Even just slapping a T1 radar down here would give a little bit of intel, which would be incredibly useful. Alright, the T1 RD actually can make this. There, these shells are coming over, but they're not entirely accurate. They're not even... no, they're not even cybering, they're just missing. Probably because of the elevation difference making a problem. Okay, ASF Tangle in the middle here. This is an air fight, and that could be Arona's. He's got the turn on Amon-Ra, and the ASFs are down to nothing, which leaves these gunships ready for just consuming by the ASF. So they were loitering around. Maybe they're hoping to find a commander to go have a little wee kill off, but nothing doing. And we're seeing engineers now turning up here. In fact, they're trying to build some factories to claim all that reclaim, basically. And why not? Build the factories, have some engineers out on patrol or reclaim order, and that will be grand. T3 on the field, that's a harbinger. So Upas has a gun com. I think it's just standard shield, not heavy. I'm pretty sure it's just standard shield, but oh look, he still doesn't have bloody radar. There's radar here from a teammate, but he's going to lose it all once they move out of range. It just boggles the mind. Nice little firefight going on here. That should be... Apologies. Maybe not actually. Gonna need some assistance to hold that line. There is some T1 PD and T2 PD just about finished, but there's still a fair amount, and T3 should be good. Harbingers coming into the mix would definitely assist in cleaning up all of this. There's quite a lot to clean up. The question is, can it be done down this direction? It is Upas versus Kiwibird. Upas standing still though is a terrible idea, taking that T1 RD5 to the face for no reason, but he is being supported by units. This actually might be a bad idea from Kiwibird. He's running out of units. That Harbinger is looking like a definite boom. Kiwibird now has 2 ranks of veterancy though, and Upas is now on the fallback. Wolfu's turn up from RNA, and there's no anti-air. There's some gunships and a Notha, and this is not great for Kiwibird. I'm not seeing, or in come the ASFs from Amon-Ra, trying to keep him alive a little bit. If he can just focus down the gunships and the Notha, it would be very much handy, but not enough ASFs, and we see that RNA has plenty of coverage overhead. Harbingers are turning up, but it's not good for Upas either. He is down to 5,000. Doesn't want to stay too close to that, and here we go. That is Kiwibird. The push was kind of on, but maybe he got a wee bit overconfident with everything there. Almost at Upas, but Upas with the T3 coming out and the air support from RNA, and it is suddenly a 3 versus 3 on the map, and there's a big gap on the left hand side now, although I imagine it won't last too long, that it will be scooped by Amon-Ra. We have a SAM in the water, we have a radar being thrown on down. Look at that, look Upas, radar. Radar. I didn't even know there's a commander right there because he's got no radar. I've got to say, that would frustrate me a little bit. There's T2 radar here, but we know nothing, Jon Snow. No, absolutely nothing. Alright, does RNA have any kind of intel? He has, well, he's got some scouts going out, but he needs them to be able to see stuff, and torpedo bombers. Are they just looking to suicide? Being used as scouts, I'd imagine. The fact that these are made it all the way over with no problems suggests there's a very much lack of anti-air over this direction, which there definitely is. And not much going on that front. Alright, Wolfu's up the middle. Looks like they're just trying to pick off some mass points. Why not? Let's get a little bit of work done. Get rid of a bit of eco. Over this side, it is T3 versus T1, and that goes about as how you would imagine it. T3 absolutely mopping the field with those guys. Right, we have an ASF squabble over here once again. It is RNA coming out on top. He's doing the work to keep the air on the side of team number 2, but he has to be careful about where he loiters, because there is a SAM launcher down here, and that will help. That's just going to pick off ASFs nice and easy. Alright, the pings are going down, and there's a bunch of T1 PD all right beside each other, so Amon-Ra wanted to just put a small deterrent in that direction. But what's going on up here? It is ASFs as a couple of Nothas knocking out power. 2 PGs down. 2 PGs for the price of 1. And those guys can now turn around and start looking at anything they can get the grubby little bombs on. 1, 2. Twin bombs to knock out a T2 max, and why not? If you can get away with it. Nothing doing in here. They come back again. Maybe they're going for this one now. Indeed they are. 1 bomb. 2 bomb. But there is an interceptor behind this one, so it's not going to last too much longer in this world. The ASF have retreated on the left hand side. They're just holding in a holding pattern, but they're going for the next one over here. Maybe they were. There's only 1 bomb got off though, but it still dies, and that's going to be the end of that Notha as it flies over some flak. So the air is very much under control by RNA, and he's been utilizing it fairly well. The ground though, yeah, that's a very difficult thing to budge right there. Many units, lots of T2 in it, a little bit of T3 thrown in for forever, so it is barely even on the tech front, but it is still a 2 versus 1 for Wamu. He's got all these units here he needs to worry about. He can't really push that much. He's got to try and conserve his forces, And what is going on down here for assistance? Well, the answer is much. Upas is there with his commander getting some regen going on. He's up to 5,000 health, his shield is healthy, but his units are kind of lacking. And the question is, what is he even focusing on? Well, I think he got tech launcher because he's had to rebuild these things. It's a lot of dead stuff. I imagine there was a TML somewhere. There we go. And it was from Amon-Ra himself. He put tech missiles on his comm, and he has been popping the eco of Upas, who up until just before did not have TMD. Obviously he's got it now because he's rebuilding, but building straight to a T3 mix. Okay, fair enough. Don't want to upgrade, just want to get it done. He has to do. He's using his units up this direction, joining up with Wamu to try and take these forces. Again, needs to be really careful with the push because they could get counter pushed. There we go, exactly that, ill style. Sensing an opportunity. Do they have intel? Oh yes, they kind of do. They've got radar, so we can see there's not many units over here. They're all over this direction, and this should expose the weakness right here, and that should be a push from Illstyle. Over this side, it is very much Harbingers getting caught out. In the middle there, Harbinger going to melt under the huge amounts of Ilshivers. Yeah, Harbies are good, but they're not that good. Alright, units are coming over from Illstyle. Looks like they want to join in the fight, and that is possibly the wrong idea. Maybe they should have just tried to push straight in this way, and oh no, there's a whole band of T2PD there which may have dented that idea. Maybe they want to get over here and help with this fight, but now they are falling back. The units kind of spread all over the place. It's hard to judge where it's going to come next. But now it looks like these skirmishes have stopped, although Wamu is still determined to push on forward with these units. Try and get some work done. Maybe he just wants to knock out the factories and get some of this reclaim back. Reclaim that has been absolutely hoovered by Amon by forever. It's got a few factories down here. They could always just spit out energies on a reclaim order and grab as much as possible. And he's definitely got the weight of the units for the moment. Everything here is 100% in this order. Until the shields come out, if Wamu can join up with Upas, they could actually maybe do something. I hear another strat. That just right your socks. Hello, what was it going for? Going for the tech defense because right behind it was a tech missile onto the T3. Gen, that was deliberately timed, I'd imagine. Indeed, missiles coming out from Amon-Ra's comm, and as the strat came in and destroyed the TMD, means that missile could come on through, and that's going for the HQ. Oh no. Upas is getting absolutely picked on right now, and he's lost his T3 HQ, which means he can't produce any more of these. No Harbingers, no shields, no nothing. He has T1 factories and that it, and needs to start upgrading one of these to tick up. That's just... yeah, he's going to be a very unhappy man right now. Very unhappy. Wamu, on the other hand, he has not upgraded his mass extractors. Still sitting on T2 in his core, but he is getting one now, very slowly. But he is well behind on the eco front. It is really RNA on the right hand side. With all of these mixes that is doing the work. And hello, torpedo bombers, so they know. They know Amon-Ra's in the water, I'm sure of it. He's obviously done a scout over. And is that Omni? Yeah, that's Omni. So Omni radar doesn't actually see sonar, I don't think. So anything underwater I see. It'll see things on top of water, but not under. Which means they have to scout to see Amon-Ra there, and that's a small build-up of torpedo bombers. Maybe not enough. Not quite enough. Right hand side is the ground battle, and it is RNA versus Amon-Ra. They have plenty of factories each spitting out some units. Out come the labs because that is a Zooey push. All Zooeys are very annoying. Well, yeah, they're floating, kind of noisy, but it's been like Arty versus Arty. And here comes the Otham though, just to reinforce his side. And the Otham's going to clean up basically everything and let the T1 Arty take out the factory. So that should be a win on the right for RNA. He's going to hold that position. The middle is still having problems. And now, is that... Nope, I thought I saw a mobile T390, but it is not. It's just a regular old mobile missile launchers having to go at anything that comes near a very ill-advised push. Whammo, I don't think he can afford that, and he's going to lose that Otham, that 2-rank Veterancy Otham. Bad idea, and they don't really have anything left on the ground right now. We have seen, this is, there we go, factory is on the upgrade, so this is Upas trying to get back into the game on that front. Might as well reclaim this stuff. You're going to put these tech defense up, you're going to have to shield them so another strap bomb doesn't come in and do exactly what it did before. And he's just holding for the moment. I'm kind of surprised Team 1 isn't pushing on this. Do they have the information of just how little there is on the ground for Team number 2? Not really seeing any strike capability right now. No experimentals going on. Amon Ra's being told to... asking for something, I don't know what. Well, his comms out of the water now, and these torpedo bombers, maybe they weren't being aimed for with comm, maybe they've just been sitting there for a while, but the right hand side is looking pretty good. This has been from RNA, and he's managed to clean up this section. Now these units are pushing up towards this top section, and they're going to need to think about getting some defenses down. Oh, they have got some point defenses, but we see there is a classic case of fuck the ground from this triad back here. Well, it was. They decided to actually start hitting its target. That's fine. They'll be fine for the T1. They'll be able to hold that up, and we've got some units here for support. But the Ultim, on the other hand, is going to be a bit of a problem. They can distract and soak up the damage, and that's going to leave the Zuis to lob their shells over and kill things off in a nice, neat and orderly fashion. But yeah, there are a few triads. Got 3 back there, got another couple here. This one's going to die. It's not too long for this build, but they're missing a lot of the shots. That Zui was over the edge of the hill. That makes a lot more sense. But so much is dying, and they're just not stopping though. This force is carrying on past towards this section where there is very little in the way of defences. It's going to be a very, very hurt little base in a moment. Check out the front line though, and massive amount of forces from Forever. I'm still puzzled. He's not going in. Maybe he wants to think about softening up the shields a little bit. Maybe he's putting down some T2RT or something, or mobile T3RT. Is that what I see? Yes, it is. Get this thing up front, start knocking out some damage on there. Oh my word, is Upas got problems. I'm pretty sure he's relying on power from his teammates as well. He's only got the... Oh, there we go. He's just finished a T3 PGen, and that will sort his power issues for the foreseeable future. Okay, this is the current problem though, and this has been RNA with units sneaking around the back, and what is there to slow them down? There's nothing really. It seems like nobody's really noticed. I mean, they're there. They've been spotted, they're on radar, right? You guys do know you've got units in the back of your base, and not even one bit of point defense has been built. Throwing up Ravagers. Yeah, not the greatest idea when they're already in your base. Could have had some air from Amon Ra come over. In fact, there we go. We do have some gunships finally making an appearance. Then they can start working on those siege tanks and chip away at their health. Maybe they should think about getting the Zuis first. Zuis do a bunch of damage, of course, but they're very weak, so still, Otham's ain't exactly a slouch either. Right, over this direction, and really these forces have just split up and they're having to go everywhere. The Stingers, yeah, going to finish off that Otham any moment now if it stops getting rank severancy, which help people level it up. There we go, there's still plenty of units on the ground, and that is the T3 mixes. They were T3 mixes. I say were because they're definitely not now, and gunships up here are not very useful. They need to take to the skies and start whittling down these units as well before things get incredibly terrible. And there we go, the units have been repurposed from Ilstyle, maybe a little bit late, and he's throwing a Titan at some Othams. Never a great idea. Othams will tear Titans into tiny little pieces. But here we go, the Stingers from Amon Ra sitting on the ground. You maybe want to get them doing something, but it is what it is, and they are doing what they're doing. Now they're moving over towards the right. Possibly going to try and clean up all of these. That is a dead Otham, but also that is a dead base belonging to Ilstyle, and his eco has just tanked from that. RNA with an experimental, and that is a chicken. That could be problematic. There we go. Gunships are about to be caught out though. No anti-air near them, and the ASFs are going to sweep on through and turn those into scrap. That's a whole bunch of Stingers having a really bad day. A number do survive, but the ASFs swing back for another walkthrough, basically, and there's far more ASFs in the sky for RNA than there are for Amon Ra. Let's just have a quick check on that. I mean, we've just seen RNA actually win that air fight. He's got around 40 ASFs and Amon Ra has around 4. Okay, 8. But he definitely does not have enough to hold or contest air, and that is going to be a problem if he wants to try and do anything in that job. Still not sure why this lot are standing still. They have done nothing wrong. They've given time for this to get built, which is now stalking its way forwards. And that will be a fairly even battle. Some good shielding. Do we have some T3 Othams around the place? Got a couple of lightning tanks as well. We've got plenty of other units over here which can join in the fray. More shields going up, and I think that is a maybe it's a radar. Find out in a second. Nope, T2 ID it is. And that is probably going to join in with trying to crack this particular spot on the map. But over here though, another push up the top side, and this is T2 and T1 in the mix. Plenty of Urchivers, plenty of Zuis, and that is a very annoying mix because the Urchivers can tank the damage and the Zuis can dish it out. And it's actually doing some really bad things to this particular force of just Lobos. And here they come. Push down this way. There is a Ravager and there is a Triad, so maybe not as awful. But now the pinch is coming because this Ythota is going to pick up some things to shoot at very shortly, and there we go. Off they go for the attack. The Ythota does fall back though, doesn't quite want to push into towards all of that. Don't know if pushing into PV under shields with the Ythota around is the best idea. I think it's a very foolish move, especially since he's just finished an experimental of his own, although he's heading over to the right to clean up all of this as it is currently needed. So this push has worked so far. They have managed to get quite far forward. The question is, can they take out half of this stuff, focus down the shield generators, kill them off nice and quickly, nice and weak. They provide so much protection once they're up. The Ythota though is basically being ignored, and these units are pretty much getting right into range of everything. And there we have it. Shield gens are down, kill that one off as well, and then we just don't sit still under the Zui rain. Bus has built an experimental. What? We built a GC. Decided to just jump into that game and get a GC up, and now this Ythota is going to be joined by a Galactic Colossus. Is there enough on the ground to slow that now? Well, the answer is, well, no. There isn't. There's a bunch of Urchivers though. They're having to go at the back of this Ythota, which does turn around. It is rather half dead in size, so it doesn't want to deal with anything else right now. Up here, this Ythota has done good work. It should wear all these units up to the top, and it's going to hold that section. And RNA gives the Ythota over to Umpas. He says, look, you control that, you micro that. You run around with 2 experimentals instead of 1. I'm focusing on Sawasa. And yeah, that kind of makes sense. If you own air, and you're Seraphim, and Awasa is the next logical step. We have 50 ASF up in the air for Amon Ra, and we have 63, so he's not actually that far ahead in air as he might think he is. There are plenty of factories back here, and there's some broadswords. That is some broadswords. So that's not doing too badly on that front. Down here though, it is the GC Ythota party. These two things are currently carving up anything they come across, which will include this little forward base should they decide to push in this direction, because there's seriously not enough on there. And out comes the Awasa. That's going to take down the shields, and it's going to be all she wrote for that side of things. Oh dear. 34 kills. The bleed through is real, and now these things are free to just simply wander on up and clean house. No problems. Right. The Awasa needs to go. Ooh, this is ill style up front, and this front section's about to go pop. Oh, the T1 PD is gone, the shield is gone, and ill style. Don't sit there. Not a great plan. Up the top though, this is a wee bit problematic. We have T3 rotating around, but there's a lot of T1 arty, so anything sitting still is having a bad time. There goes the Awasa again. Looks like it's just cleaning up all of that. It does try to turn away, but I think it's gotten well caught by the ASFs from Amon Ra. It does go down, but it of course does leave the ASFs from RNA to do the swoop in behind, and that is an air victory. Not too surprising, because, well, Amon Ra had to engage the Awasa. It was a good engage. He did take it down, but now he's lost the air doing so. He had to take it down just simply because no other option. That Awasa just too powerful to leave randomly around killing things off. Alright, this little position is undertaken by T3 units. There's plenty of triads, a couple of T1 PD back here, so hopefully they should be able to kill those off nice and neat, unless these things get in range and they can start picking on the shield gens, although this one is still up and healthy for the moment, until this one is under and starts killing it directly, and that is going to be all she wrote for that side of things, although it actually doesn't die, and now they're dealing with a shield gen of their own, and Ilsheva is about to sneak under the shields. Nope, it's just moving. Looks like there's a decent amount of PD there to slow down this march, but what they don't have is point defense to slow down this, or the GC which almost died actually, and has had to retreat to base. There's no way it can carry on up the front without turning into a donation, and now we have a chicken on chicken fight. Well, chicken plus Eunice versus chicken, and that's a very stray shot into the middle of the sky from this guy, so he doesn't want to worry about it. But yeah, a few little shots on there, indeed extra damage on that. Got to watch for that orb coming in. A ground fire? Maybe a ground fire trying to hit that thing. Nope, just walking boards trying to shoot the ground, standing on, impacting on the water instead. Not too handy. Plenty of units on the left hand side as well, so wherever is looking pretty good on that front, but it's the top right at the moment which is the problem. These units continue to stream in from RNA on the top right, and well, Ilstar has had to drop back. He's had to rebuild his eco, he's had to get his tech back, and now check out the air situation. I think RNA is still well ahead. 86 ASFs versus, what's that, 28. So he's got almost 3 times the ASF that Amon Ra does, which is a very poor oh, there, another experimental. So it's a very poor ratio if you're intending to have an air fight. You don't want to go in 3 versus 1. You will absolutely not survive. Maybe if you can get the fight over some friendly anti-air like some flak or lightning tanks, that might be of assistance, but right now it is... Ooh, that is dead. This is now 2 experimentals for team number 1. Forever has a pair of chickens. 1 kill, well, a rank of veterancy. You know what killed the chicken? Is that chicken. Coming in with 2 is going to be an interesting idea. I hear another chicken somewhere though. There it is. That is coming in from RNA. So he's built yes another chicken, and it's pushing up the right hand side. They're going to want to think about bringing these guys over. They have to try and stop this. If they let it go, it's going to be able to wander into Ilstar's base, and that will be all she wrote for him. Vortal's coming over to do a wee bit of a tickle on some of the units there. They're going to drop one back though under the threat of ASFs once again from RNA. RNA may just decide to commit on this. No, he doesn't. He does pull back. Thinks better of it and falls away. There must be some Sams around that will be dissuading him from just darting on in and cleaning the skies up. But that chicken is a problem, and might be too late for these things to move over. Maybe they just want to consider rushing straight in here and causing their own havoc whilst they can. Because that chicken there, yeah, it's not getting stopped by these ones. They're too far away. And that is exactly what it looks like Ferber is doing. He's pushing on in. He's moving these units up as well. Although this is T2 versus T3. That's not a great sign for the T2, but there's a lot of T2, and the siege tanks are dying because Ilshivas, you know, Ilshivas being all nasty Ilshivas and that kind of thing. But in come these guys, they need to push, and they need to push faster because this chicken has already arrived at the base of Ilstyle. And there's another chicken been built by Forever, so he's doing fine on his building capabilities. And this here is Ilstyle. He's running from the chicken, trying to stay alive as long as he possibly can, but he's not going to make it too much further. In range, in come the shots. Boom, down is the red, and no? Yes. Splat. But this chicken's going to last about half a second longer. He's met up by this guy and a bunch of broadswords. Nothing doing there, and still some forces coming in, so this guy needs to loiter back here, perhaps maybe drop back under the shields and hold a line. But here is the other problem. It is 2 Yathotas, and they are going to advance down on Upas. There is a single GC in defense, but a second GC has been done, but it's not there at the same time. And watch the health disappear off this one. 2 chickens to the face is a very bad time, but 2 GCs is also a nuke. Oh my word, Arane with a nuke. Didn't even see that getting built. We're having so much fun with the experimental wars. And the nuke is going right, I think I saw the red ping over here going right over the other side of the map, and there is no SMD anywhere. I'm pretty sure it's going to make it through. Chicken is going to win against the GCs, and oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That is basically the end of it. Forever is going to get caught by the nuke. Boom! And that is Amon-Ra's entire air grid gone. And this chicken is now going to die. It could have run down, it could have tracked down Upus and killed him, but unfortunately, he's a goner. Ooh, that was so close. That death ball, if it had been gone for the transport, could have killed it just as it picked up Amon-Ra, but picked up Upus, but Amon-Ra bows out with a control K of his own. And that was a bit of fun.